We'll make several runs on the Wonder carpets, working on athletic stance, gliding wedge, and wedge stops. The poles will help students walk onto the carpets, walk off of the carpets, turn, hold themselves into position while they're getting into their athletic stance. If it's icy, it keeps them from taking off before they're ready. If it's very slow, they can use the poles to push several times to get going. And in this case, the skier will take off with the skis parallel and then go ahead and make a wedge, and that can be a little gliding wedge and go all the way to the bottom. If it were faster and icier, they could make the wedge wider to slow down and keep the speed under control. But if it were very slow, they could just stay with the skis parallel and keep pushing until they had enough speed that they could then go ahead and comfortably push out into a nice little wedge and glide down the hill. When we look at this student, they set up with their chest over their toes in a nice position, and as soon as they let go of the poles, they ended up dropping. You can see it right here, bending the knees and dropping down at the hips and coming back, so they're standing more on their heels. So what we're trying to teach right away is that feedback, so that we can have people get to that athletic position, so we would have them feel like they're standing up a little bit taller and moving that chest forward so it's over their toes rather than their heels as they're trying to find that athletic position. So then we can go ahead and have them just try to come down the next time, going down and up, taking their hands down. They can even touch their knees or just be down about as far down as their knees, down, up, and as they're doing that, chest is right over the toes, and they're feeling their weight on their toes. We're reinforcing that position as they're in motion. We can do that as they're coming down again. Good athletic position, hands out in front, looking where we're going. As we're taking off this time, we're going to be just like a little ball, bouncing, 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 keeping the chest right over the toes and feeling the weight on the toes. Bounce, bounce, bounce as we're coming down the hill. Then we can go ahead and try to do several wedges in a row. Again, starting in a good athletic stance. Hands are out in front, looking where we're going. And chest is right over the toes. As we build up some speed, we'll push the heels out and point the toes together. That'll slow us down just a little bit. And then we'll go ahead and do a second one. And then we'll do a third one. And these are not big, wide wedges. As the heels push out, we point the toes just a little bit, so we start to slow down and then just bring the feet right back together. Again, we call that a wedge change-up. It lets them kind of feel where those leg muscles are that they need to make their wedge. You may have to do a couple of those. It can be challenging for students, but then we're ready to just do a longer run to where they'll just slow down midway, come to a stop, let the speed build up again, and do another stop at the bottom. So again, good athletic position every time before they take off. That's what we're talking to them about. Looking downhill, keeping those hands out in front, feeling the chest over the toes. The weight is on the toes. It's very important we build that sense and feeling that they're building from the ground up. They're standing. They can feel where that weight is. The chest is right over the toes. Now they're sliding. They're getting comfortable with the speed, more and more speed. Now when they push their heels out and point their toes together, we want to make sure with that extra speed that they stay centered and are not leaning back. Keep that athletic stance the whole way until they stop. And they can bring the skis together, get the speed going, do another one. And then for a final run before we would think about going to a rope or starting to talk about turning, is now we'll build even more speed. Again, we're going to start in an athletic position, looking where we're going. Hands are going to be forward, and chest right over the toes, feeling the weight on the toes. We're really getting some speed going now, and they have to feel comfortable sliding. And now they're starting to enjoy the ride, having a sense of confidence that they know where their brakes are at and can slow down. So now when they push their heels out and point their toes, it's going to be a bigger wedge, but we really want to make sure that they stay with that chest over the toes in their good athletic position. As they build speed and make that bigger wedge, they'll really want to come back. But as you can see here, if we draw a line up from their toes, hopefully they maintain that athletic position and they've not leaned back. If they're leaning back, it's usually going to be bending back at the ankles, bending their knees looking like they're sitting in a chair, or bending back at the waist. Sometimes they'll do a little bit of all three of those as they're bending back. So now we're ready to go to the rope and start talking about doing some turns. And as we do that, we will skip over the big carpet if we're at Pine Knob. We'll use this only if it's so slow that we can't use the small carpets. It's very steep and it slopes towards the carpet, so people take off. They'll lose their athletic stance. They have trouble maintaining a wedge. Oftentimes they'll ski into the people coming up on the carpet. So we try to avoid this unless they can't grab onto the rope, or if they have to go up here, you can take a T-bar up so that you're not trying to catch them or ski next to them and trying to keep them under control. So at Pine Knob, we will try to skip over this carpet and head right on over to the rope toe. And that's where we'll be ready to start talking about going a little higher on the hill and making our turns.